Hey guys, I'm Marcus with Drive and Be Driven, reporting to you out here in bright and breezy South Florida. And this week I have the CX-30, courtesy of my peeps over at Mazda. Today we're going to go over the top 5 areas where Mazda really hit it on the nose with the CX-30, as well as the top 5 areas where Mazda sort of missed the mark. So let's get started. Now, I do have a handful of videos covering the CX-30, so if you are interested in knowing more information about this vehicle, feel free to click in the upper right-hand corner of your screen. Also, I would truly appreciate if you could please subscribe to the Drive and Be Driven YouTube channel and also leave this video with a thumbs up. Both of those two simple actions let me know how you absolutely love seeing these types of videos, and I truly love making them for you. So if you could just please like and subscribe, it'll be truly appreciated. But of course, without further ado, today we are going to be going over the top 5 most compelling aspects of the CX-30, as well as the top 5 areas that left me wanting just a little bit more. So of course, without further ado, cue that intro. Alright guys, let's first kick off this countdown with where Mazda sort of missed the mark. Alright guys, so in the number 5 spot where I feel like Mazda sort of missed the mark is going to come down to the fact that you have no touchscreen inside of this vehicle. Now, Mazda didn't go completely crazy. You're still going to have an infotainment system, of course, but it's not going to be touchscreen. You could touch on this all you want, nothing's going to happen. You have to control it via this controller down here, which takes some time to get used to. It's definitely a learning curve since basically all other competitors are going to feature a touchscreen interface. And honestly, the system is not that bad. It's pretty responsive and really easy to navigate in my opinion. But one area that I feel like it sort of lacks is when it comes to the Android Auto and Apple CarPlay. For 2021, you are going to get Android Auto and Apple CarPlay as standard equipment, which was not the case for 2020. But once you are actually using Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, you have to still use this scroll wheel. And those systems were made to be touchscreens. So you're sitting here scrolling through all these options in an interface that is meant to be touched on. So definitely a little bit of an oversight in my opinion in that regards. But even if Mazda made this a touchscreen, it's rather far from my reach. So it would have to come down to some reworking and re-engineering of the overall dashboard design as well. So just keep that in mind. But all in all, if you're looking for a vehicle that has a touchscreen, the CX-30 is not going to offer that for you. So definitely something I would like to see Mazda rectify in the future, especially since they are now implementing some more touchscreens throughout their vehicles. For example, the Mazda CX-5 is now going to offer a touchscreen inside of its cabin. So maybe the CX-30 is going to get that in the future and is going to trickle down to smaller Mazdas in the future. All right guys, so the number 4 spot, we are going to find ourselves in the interior once again, but it's not going to necessarily be related to the fact that it's not a touchscreen, but it's actually going to be the fact that the reverse camera is just lackluster in my opinion. So for example, I'm going to pop this vehicle into reverse. There you go, your reverse camera. You can see all of that real estate that is not used. I mean, why Mazda? You have, it looks like almost like a 6.5-inch reverse camera there, but it doesn't even just stop there. You're not going to have any type of trajectory either. You can have guidance lines, but when you turn the wheel, nothing is going to change on that screen. You're also not going to have any type of 360 view camera, any type of multi-view, which some competitors are also going to offer. I just feel like it's sort of an oversight, and I feel like Mazda definitely needs to pay a bit more attention to this reverse camera. Honestly, I feel like it came down to the mandate here in US where all vehicles have to feature a standard reverse camera, but at least the graphics are really nice. Honestly, the graphics look like something you would get out of a high quality smartphone, so that's pretty neat. But unfortunately, it is going to be a little bit small, and the fact that it is actually positioned pretty far as well makes it even worse, because I find myself trying to squint to find little areas where I might be getting close to something. So of course, just keep that in mind. Alright guys, so in the number 3 spot is the fact that the CX-30 does not offer standard blind spot monitoring with rear cross traffic alert.
If you want that feature, you have to step up to the select trim level, which is going to start closer to $25,000. But it's just something that I would like to see Mazda rectify in the future, especially considering the more hindered rearward visibility as opposed to a lot of its competitors.
Alright guys, here we are in the number 2 spot, and it's going to have to come down to, well, the fact that you are going to be missing certain creature comforts inside of this vehicle as far as heating and cooling goes. So in order to emphasize just a little bit more what I'm talking about, you are not going to have any type of cooled front seats inside of this vehicle. You're also not going to have any type of heated steering wheel or heated rear seats. If you're looking for all of those features, you have to step up to your CX-5, which is going to be a slightly larger crossover in the Mazda lineup. But Mazda is not going to leave you completely hanging, because they are still going to offer some features that are honestly not even really seen in this class still. For example, you're going to have your rear AC vents, which a lot of competitors, believe it or not, are not going to offer. You're also going to get dual zone climate control inside of this vehicle, which the Korean competitors are not going to give you. That Seltos I had did not have dual zone climate control, so I have to give Mazda a big thumbs up for that. So of course there are areas where Mazda is going to be one-upping the competition, but there's also areas that I would just like to see Mazda emphasize just a bit more, especially when it comes to the heating and cooling within this cabin. Alright, here we are. We made it to the number 1 spot where I feel like Mazda sort of missed the mark, and it's going to come down to the rather restricted rear cabin inside of this vehicle. Now, you're not going to have the smallest cabin by any stretch of the imagination, so don't get too scared. But this cabin is definitely not going to be the most cavernous out there, especially within this subcompact utility vehicle segment. As far as headroom goes, it's going to be very class competitive. Basically the same headroom you're going to see in something like a Subaru Crosstrek or a Honda HR-V, but you are going to notice how this is going to be less headroom than something like your Kia Soul, which is going to be a bit more boxy and offer you more headroom inside of the cabin. As far as legroom goes, the CX-30 is pretty decent as well. It's not going to be the worst, but also not the best. You're going to be looking at around 1.5 inches less legroom than something like that Kia Seltos that I reviewed not too long ago. You're also going to be looking at around 2.5 inches less legroom than something like a Honda HR-V, but luckily, like I said, not the smallest rear seat, because that Toyota CHR is actually going to offer nearly 3 inches less than what's found back here. Now, I have this driver's seat adjusted to my comfort at 6 feet tall, and if I were to sit behind myself, I have a decent amount of space. Like I said, I'm 6 feet tall. This front seat's adjusted to my comfort. I'm sitting behind myself, I have space, but you can see how it's definitely more of a cramped cabin here, and my shins are going to be touching this bottom portion here, and of course I can't even really cross my legs. I'm not even going to try and do that back here. So, you know, the CX-30 is not going to be the largest, but also not the smallest. And I want to talk about the foot space. You have actually lots and lots of foot space inside of this vehicle, which I'm really, really impressed about. But I wanted to show you, when you are sitting back here, you're going to have this big hump here. And this hump is going to be mainly due to the fact that this vehicle has all-wheel drive. And basically what that means is if you have a center passenger, they're going to have to be fighting with your outboard passengers for foot space, because I can't put my feet here. If I were, I mean, who's going to drive around looking like this? So you got to put your feet outward, share it with your passengers. Hopefully they don't have the biggest feet in the world, because you're going to be a little bit of trouble. But all in all, something I would like to see Mazda implement in the future is just making this center hump smaller. It's definitely going to be able to grant a little bit more rear room for your rear seat passengers. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging in there. At this point in the video, I would truly appreciate if you could please comment down below letting me know if you agree with my top 5 misses so far. All right, guys, so now more on a positive note, let's go ahead and transition to where Mazda really hit it on the nose with the CX-30. All right, guys, so in the number 5 spot, we are going to find ourselves out back, and that's because the CX-30 is actually going to feature something that not really too many competitors are going to offer in this class. In fact, the list is extremely, extremely short. Can you guess what it is? It's a power-assisted trunk. Yes, this vehicle features this in the subcompact utility vehicle class. And it's not going to feature any type of hands-free access. You have to use either your key fob or the button on the rear of your vehicle. But nevertheless, it's nice to have that feature because it's a rarity in this class. And of course, if you want this feature, you are going to have to step up to your top of the line 2.5S with that premium package. All right, guys, so in the number 4 spot is going to come down to the fact that the CX-30 is going to feature standard LED lighting both up front and out back. That's really, really impressive for this class. It definitely shows how Mazda is trying to position this vehicle in more of an upscale premium type of nature, and honestly for the exact same price as a lot of its competitors. Up front, you're going to have your full LED headlights with your LED turn signal indicators down below. Right over here, you're going to have your LED turn signal mirror mounted indicators. Those are only going to be on your higher end trim levels. But one thing that is going to be unique to this vehicle, which a lot of competitors are not even going to offer even as optional equipment, are your LED turn signal indicators out back, which is absolutely spectacular. A lot of competitors are going to just leave out that feature for some reason, but Mazda is not going to leave you hanging. If they're going to put LEDs up front, they're putting LEDs out back as well, and I have to commend them for that. All right, guys, so slotting in the number 3 spot is actually going to come down to what's under the hood of this vehicle. So the CX-30 is going to feature a 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine as your standard engine, but you're also going to get an optional turbocharged engine. Basically what that means is this standard 2.5 liter naturally aspirated engine is going to give you the most standard horsepower in this segment. Most other competitors are going to offer close to 140 to 150 horsepower out of their standard entry-level engines. But here with the CX-30, you're going to get a whopping 186 horsepower even on the base CX-30. So if you're looking for the most power out of your base model, the CX-30 is definitely going to have you covered. But it's also going to have you covered if you are the type of person that wants to fully spec out your CX-30. If you go for your CX-30 Turbo, that's also going to be a 2.5 liter, but it's going to be hooked up to a turbocharger. And that is expected to feature class-leading torque and horsepower numbers as well. So that is pretty impressive. But if you are looking at your entry-level CX-30, hands down, it is going to be the most powerful available. All right, guys, so in the number 2 spot is the absolutely superb driving dynamics that this vehicle exudes. It's a true driver to car intimate relationship that this vehicle has. I mean, the overall handling is absolutely spectacular, very precise. Your throttle input's also precise, not a lot of body roll. If you want to know a lot more about how this vehicle drives, I have a very thorough drive review, which I am going to link in the upper right-hand corner of the screen. So if you want to know more about how this vehicle drives, definitely check that out. But I just want to let you know that if you're looking for the vehicle that has the best driving dynamics in this class, the CX-30 literally deserves the top spot on your list, because I can't really think of any other vehicles that drive as good as this vehicle. All right, guys, so the number 1 spot is going to come down to the absolutely spectacular interior that the CX-30 has. I mean, this cabin is borderline luxury, if you ask me. If I had a blindfold on, if you covered up this Mazda badge and I was just touching around, feeling stuff, I would think I was in a luxury car. You have leather on your dashboard. This is real leather on your dashboard. That's incredible. You're also going to have these aluminum accented buttons on your steering wheel. Just everything exudes more upscale and premium nature. This whole thing is going to be leather wrapped. It's going to run all the way down into your footwell. I mean, this is unheard of within this segment. You're going to have just so much technology inside of this vehicle as well. For example, this LCD display in your gauge cluster, standard equipment. A lot of competitors are just going to give you a smaller 4.5 TFT monochromatic screen, but here this is going to be standard on all models, and it's going to be colored. And not only is it colored, but it's also rather large, 7 inches. Same thing over here. This is going to be a standard 8.8 inch screen on all of your CX-30s. So when it comes to the interior look, and not only the look but also the build quality, Mazda really hit it out of the park. I just love all the silver accents inside of here. Very robust and solid feel. I mean, Mazda, I have to tell you, when it comes to your interior designs, you are really unmatched within this class. Keep it up, because if people are looking for upscale premium quality cars but don't have $40,000 to $50,000 to spend, because that's sort of what this cabin exudes, the Mazda CX-30 literally has your name written all over it. Well, that's it for this right off the bat episode. Comment and tell me what you'd like to see in future videos. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. This is Marcus, and thanks for watching Drive and Be Driven. Keep it positive, and I'll see you next time. All right, guys, so wow. All right, guys. Why do I keep on missing this? Why am I so close? All right, guys. So in the number... So let's get started. Oh, that's so loud. You can become a Drive and Be Driven driver today. Just simply click the subscribe button and you will become a part of the Drive and Be Driven circle. Thank you to all of my current Drive and Be Driven drivers for driving me towards my goals and dreams. Stay subscribed for more awesome videos like this one.